Hello and welcome to Zelda Speedruns 2. Today we have another Zelda 2 randomizer match on Swiss Round 3. Paratroopa1, who I believe is 1-1, and Schmidtty, who I believe is 0-2. And I am joined today by Trails, sorry, I derped, who is very graciously doing commentary today. And I will hand it off to you, and they should be starting very soon.
Alright, thank you, Noranato. Hey guys, it's Trails here. We got Schmidtty Games, who is, as Noranato said, 0-1, and Paratroopa, who's 1-1. Paratroopa is known for Zelda 1 Randomizer and Zelda 1 Vanilla. I think you might have some Vanilla Z2 times. Schmidtty Games has a lot of Zelda 2 Vanilla experience, and he's been doing a lot of Zelda 2 Randomizer recently, and they're off. You'll notice on Paratroopa's side, he's playing as the Simon Belmont sprite, which is a new addition to the latest version of the randomizer. And they both find Jump Cave, but they don't have the jump spell, so they can't progress. Paratroopa's maybe grinding some small enemies for maybe some keys or some early P bags or something. He cannot progress through this cave, so. And you'll see on Schmidty's side, he's using his world-famous Troll Link sprite, and he finds Medicine Cave. In the vanilla game, this has the Water of Life in it, or like we like to call the medicine. And he's going to go all of the items are scrambled within different caves, item caves, and the overworld is random as well. So the objective is still the same. However, the items are scrambled in the overworld in random places. Oof, Paratroopa, I think, took a game over. No, he's on his last life. He's got to be very careful here. And Schmidtty Games finds a heart container at the end of Water of Life Cave. So he does a quick up and A, which is and Paratroopa took a game over there, unfortunately. And it's a good strategy to up an A when in that cave, because it's such a big cave. It takes something like 30 seconds or something to walk through. And you'll notice on Schmidtty Games' side, there's a cave that has a boulder in front of it. That's absolutely an item cave. In the randomizer, if there's a boulder in front of a cave, it has an item behind it for sure. And on the Western continent, they will have 5 item caves and 1 grass tile, which hold an item, and they'll have 4 towns, 2 of them that require spell items, like the town of Mito Schmidty just walked in requires the Water of Life, like in vanilla, and you get downstab there too. Schmidty Games just gets a hint in the town of Raru for the glove, being on the west, so that's great information to have. Just like in vanilla, you'll have 2 free spells, one in Raru and one in the harbor town of Saria, where you have to find the mirror underneath the table. But the spells are random. As you see, Schmidty Games gets the fairy spell in the town of Raru. Paratroopa gets his heart container, and he's going to walk it on out through Medicine Cave. And right now, Schmidty Games, with just the information that he has in the fairy spell, has got a pretty good advantage. I'm sure Paratroopa will find this information out very soon, but Schmidty Games so far creeping ahead. And the palaces are randomized on each continent. Any palace, including the Great Palace, can be on either continent, and the rooms inside are randomized as well. Schmidty Games is in a P-bag cave in vanilla, and Paratroopa finds another heart container on the grass tile. Schmidty Games has randomized his P-bags to be D-bags, and he's actually in a vanilla P-bag cave, but in randomizer, the items are randomized into this location as well, and he finds a magic container. So far, the West seeming like it's pretty dry. Found 3 item locations so far, all heart and magic containers. However, the fairy was a good, nice early find. And an easy spectacle rock right out there in the open. Paratroopa's going to take a peek in Death Mountain. Let's see if he looks like he's going to nope on out of it. I didn't see what Palace Schmidtty Games stepped into. It looked like Palace 4. And we're about to find out in a second when Paratroopa takes a look. Yeah, Fairy Spell is pretty expensive at Magic 1, but usually, you know, you take a couple Magic levels and it'll go down to as little as 20 or 30 Magic points. And Schmidtty Games finds the wrong side of the town, the harbor town of Saria, and you need a letter from Bagu to enter from that side. They probably won't be finding it now. Hints have been turned on with this randomizer setting, and also drops have been randomized as well. Sometimes these enemies might drop 500-point P-bags, keys, or even 1-ups. So this is anybody's game. I say Schmidtty kind of has the edge because he's got tons of randomizer experience. He's been playing this for the past couple months now. He joined the Max Rando tournament, the one that just passed not too long ago, and so he's got a little bit more experience with the randomizer. But ooh, he finds the other out of Jump Cave, which is actually great information to have. Paratroopa gets that hint about the glove. Finding the other end of Jump Cave is always nice because you know you don't have to go through it. And he finds the right side of Saria. So at this point, we know that Saria and Jump Cave are both not probable solutions to get onto a different section of this overworld. Paratroopa is about to get his Fairy Spell, which we know is in the town of Raru, and Schmidtty Games is about to turn in that mirror in the harbor town of Saria to see what free spell that he gets. The 3 required spells that these 2 guys are going to want to get, they're going to want to get Reflect Spell, Thunder Spell, and Fairy Spell. And Schmidtty Games gets the Reflect Spell, so it's seeming like it's a pretty free seed thus far. Glove being on the west, however, it could be behind that boulder block cave, and so they might have to do some digging for the hammer. But if it's out there free for the taking, Schmidtty Games finds Magic Container Cave, and you'll notice these 2 start out with the candles, so you can see what's lit up in the caves immediately. In the bracket stage rounds of the tournament, there and he finds the glove. That's an excellent find, really early on, especially when you're only missing 1 spell. If he gets Downstab and Thunder Spell, he's pretty good to go. They might need the Flute to progress. The 3-eyed rock is a thing, and he finds the last item cave, Heart Container Cave. So all the items and the spells on the west are just free for the taking. We did see 2 palaces. I haven't seen what the second palace is, and you see Paratroopa gets a 500-point P-bag drop from that. It looked like a bot or a bouncy cat. I'm not really sure. Schmidtty Games gets 200-point P-bag. All of the items and the item caves and the locations were free on the overworld. These 2 records zeroing. Paratroopa is 1-1, and Schmidtty Games is 0-2. So Paratroopa's fighting for his ticket to get punched into the bracket stage rounds of this tournament, and Schmidtty Games is trying to get away. And it's Palace 2, you can tell from the columns, he struck the Iron Knuckle statue in a red jar drop. So I believe Palace 2 and Palace 4 have been found on the Western continent so far. However, they don't have the raft, but they do have the Fairy Spell. So raft could be in a palace or it could be in death. Oh, they're both 1-1. I apologize. Sorry. I got, I guess, bad information. I don't know. It's no big deal. Anyway, they're both 1-1, and I apologize for the confusion. That was my bad. But yeah, you'll see Paratroopa going through Magic Container Cave. He's about to pick up his glove. So this raft could be in a palace, or it could be in Death Mountain. It'd be really interesting to see what these guys do. Schmidtty Games finds Death Mountain and says, no thank you. You know, I don't blame him. He's going to pick up his heart container. He's going to have every single item on the Western continent at this point in time. He's going to have to make a choice. Palace or death? Or palace or mountain, rather. I'm not sure if the fairy spell is castable at this point, but maybe grind some small enemies. Oh, it looks like he finds the fairy cave drop, which would take him to a separate section of the overworld. However, they've already found all the item caves, so at this point, it's literally Death Mountain or a palace. I'm not sure which one I would choose. Maybe Death Mountain. Well, the thing is, the glove they already have, so. They are missing Trophy Cave, but the thing is, though, they found a Border Blast Cave they can't access yet. So, having the glove, the fairy, and the reflect spell sub 10 minutes is gotta be pretty nice. The thing is, that raft is required, and it's playing a good game of hide and go seek. So, looks like Schmidtty Games is maybe farming for some magic levels. See if he gets a few more fairy cast in. And Paratroopa is taking the dive Fridays after 5 and Death. And he finds Hammer Cave almost instantly. Man, this is if this has the raft, this could be bad news for Schmidtty Games here. Oh, Zero Wing, the glove is 100% always needed. About 99.9% of the time. If that. Paratroopa has the glove. And Paratroopa also, has found Hammer Cave, which could be kind of a big. Kind of a gutsy play by Paratroopa, just running into that room without trying to despawn that large enemy at the top, and he finds the magical key, which isn't really required, but it's nice. Judging by Schmidty's magic's container points, Fairy's gonna. It's like 48 MP. So if he enters any palaces, he's gonna have to really be easy with the casting magic. These guys might need Fairy Cave to go up north to get to a palace to be able to get the raft. The raft could be in 2 or 4, or it could be upstairs. Well, I guess stay tuned to find out. Schmidtty gets his down stab and he's all happy, and that's freaking awesome information right there. Right, because Palace 4 is one of his possible locations, and he could do it with what he has, but it would take some fancy death abusing and stuff like that. But Palace 2 is on the overworld, on Paratroopa's screen actually, and basically It's either Palace 2 or the other palace, the third palace on the Western continent that has the raft. And Paratroopa finds some pathway that gets him to the northern side of the Western continent. All you gotta do is not die. Oh, he dies. All he's gotta do is get over this sketchy skullfish jumping water encounter. And he should be good to go. There's another palace up north. It looks like Schmidtty Games has also found a pathway. The magical key, well, a Mew Mew fan, at this point, it has to be in a palace. The only way that the raft wouldn't be in a palace is if a palace had the hammer. But you'd still have to go through a palace to get it. And we already know by a spell hint that Palace 4 has the medicine, the water of life. So it's wow, these guys are having to go through this cave, and this is Paratroopa pass-through cave, which they're gonna have to take. It looks like they're definitely gonna have to take that to get to the other section where the palace is. But Schmidtty Games, I don't think realizes that yet. Now that there's Paratroopa. I think Schmidtty Games is he's going into this thing for what reason I don't know, but alright, he's going back up the short cave, and this is the play right here, because the short cave wasn't down, and it's really the only thing that he can do at this point to progress. I mean, he could jump into the fairy cave tile and fly up and through and probably get put into the very same thing, but yeah, there's a graveyard tile. So Paratroopa has a pretty decent advantage. Okay, it looks like the Paratroopa pass-through cave did literally nothing because he's in the area where he was earlier. So he needs to find that graveyard tile, and he needs to take a dive. Gets a D-bag drop, 500 pointer. I know Paratroopa found the graveyard tile. Schmidtty Games hasn't, but okay, this is Palace 3 or 6. I was mistaken. So far, 2 and 3 and 6 are on the Western continent, and Schmidtty Games has the whatchamacallit, Schmidtty Games has the information that the fairies, or that the water of life is in Palace 4, so he knows not to dig Palace 4 for any items, unless he is obviously looking for the water of life. But it would be, this is an interesting little puzzle that this game has presented these two with. No Paratroopa, you do not have the raft. You can't go quite yet. And Schmidtty Games not having a key, deciding Palace 6 is not a good idea. And, you know, I don't blame him. But Palace 2 seems like a way better idea. Palace 2 might even have the boots or something like that, which would help him get somewhere new. I don't know. But Paratroopa, knowing where that fairy cave is, and they've seen everything else, literally, so Schmidtty Games should either be jumping into Palace 2 or the fairy, or looking for graveyard tiles. Paratroopa seems to have figured it out. He's taking a dive in the Palace 2. I would say having the fairy spell versus having the magical key. Having the magical key is definitely an advantage, but I don't think it's like a game-breaking advantage. Like I wouldn't say quite GG to Paratroopa quite just yet. Looks like Schmidtty Games is taking a dive right straight into Palace 2. It'd be pretty funny if this is like the cross or something like that. And these two guys gotta have to jump into the grave tile that drops you into fairy. Burp cycle, you're winning. This is a tie ball game. They both have about the same thing. Let's see what the drippers are. 50-point orange iron knuckles. Money's not that good. I just keep it moving. Oh yeah, and with these flags, extra keys have been turned on. So all the P bags have been turned into keys. So they have that going also. Schmidtty Games is gonna have to take a 6 heart container death with he gets a 100-point P bag, not quite enough. But yeah, he's gonna have to take a 6 heart container death at life 4, which isn't too bad with this large enemy right here. And Paratroopa is on the grind. So yeah, Paratroopa will be able to go through these palaces a little quicker having that key, which is a good advantage for him. One of these two are going to punch their ticket into the bracket stage rounds of this tournament. Schmidtty Games, you gotta be careful down Stamina's block, you might take a dip in the lava. And did Paratroopa forget that he had the glove? I'm not sure if he progressed through this room or not. Maybe he did and reached the dead end. But if the raft is on the other side of this room and he forgot he had the glove and up 8, he's in some serious trouble. I don't think he went this far. Okay, never mind. He found the item, so everything I just said, forget it. Yeah, he must have forgot that he has the glove then. But the boss may still even be back here, and if that's the case... Wow, look at all those iron knuckles. I just missed what he got. It wasn't a magic container or a heart container. It must have been... Okay, he got the hammer. Okay. Thank you, Mew Mew. So yeah, like like you said earlier, palaces were required, but could lead to the hammer, which could lead back into Death Mountain. So yeah, Schmidtty Games finds that long dead end and decides to turn around and no one out. And Paratroopa finds Helmet Head, the boss of Palace 2. The magical key light was in Death Mountain and Hammer Cave. Yeah, well, Light, the Hammer Cave was pretty free. there were 2 entrances to Death Mountain. One just had 2 cave entrances, and the other one had a whole truckload. And yeah, it was right there, free for the taking. Paratroopa places his first gem of the second palace, just now. Yeah, the second palace, it's the second head on the thing. And meanwhile, Schmidtty Games is chugging along in this palace too. At this point, he's seen it all. He already knows that this is going to be the path to Helmet Head. He's seen two right-way dead ends, and this one has by default to take him to the boss at this point. The name of the rock is Spectacle Rock, or as I like to call it, Testicle Rock. So Schmidtty Games is about to place his gem. I wonder what he's gonna do here. Yeah, it looks like he's gonna take attack. I don't blame him. I think that's a pretty good play. So it's pretty much a tied ball game here, folks. They both have the same items, except for Paratroopa has that magical key, which might not even really come into play. If Schmidtty Games finds Palace 3 and gets those easy, quick keys that are in those breakable blocks, that with the Fairy spell might mitigate any kind of quote-unquote advantage that that Paratroopa may have. And Schmidtty Games is going to hightail it right over to that border block cave, because he already knows it's going to be Trophy Cave, and it's a pretty good possibility that the raft is going to be in there. And I think Paratroopa may have forgotten where the border block cave was, so this might kind of put Schmidtty Games in a little bit of a lead. And it's a D-bag. That's pretty funny. 27 minutes in, no raft. Well, here, it's probably here. Nope. So raft is either in Palace 6 or in a palace up on the north side. I know, 27 minutes in, and I'm just placing my first gem in Palace 2. I'm pretty scared. I know Schmidtty Games has gotta be like really sweating right now. He's probably gonna jump into Death Mountain. They haven't seen the third palace on the western continent, so I'm beginning to wonder, is Fairy Cave crossing any of their minds at this point? Paratroopa's gotta be a little worried too. 28 minutes in, he's probably like, man, what in the heck is going on? I mean, there's another palace out there, and I'm wondering if it's weighing on their mind, like, hey, there's this Fairy Cave that, we haven't really seen, but looks like Schmidtty Games is heading in the direction of Palace 6. Which, I mean, it could be the right play, but in my opinion, there are like, I don't know, 10 key doors in here, which means you're going to be death abusing a lot, and very being 49 XP, and he wastes a fairy cast right there, which I don't really understand. Maybe he's planning on getting his a magic level here shortly. And Paratroopa is right behind. The thing is though, with Paratroopa, he's got the magical key, so any kind of key issues, he will not have any problems with. I wonder if he's going to take the drop or if he's going to take the jump. He's going to take the jump, and he makes it by just the skin of his toenail. And they're both in the same room. We call, like in the Zelda 2 Randomizer Discord, we like to call this crossing swords. Schmidtty Games is in the pass-through Rebenek fight. Sets up the pixel perfectly. Ooh, pushes Rebenek off to the side, but with his vanilla knowledge, just absolutely wrecks Rebenek right off his high horse. Ooh, almost flawless victory, but still grabs him, giving a little butt poke. I like that. I like the old butt poke. He doesn't take the magic level. Interesting. And he's greeted immediately with a drop. And we find the Canadian drop hole. He tries to make the jump to the left, but fails miserably. And Paratroopa's horsey fight looks like he's a little higher up than usual. Schmidtty Games looped back around to the beginning, so he's down the never-ending Iron Knuckles statue drop, and he goes right. I wonder if Schmidtty Games is ooh, he finds Barba. This is great news for Schmidtty Games. He'll get to place that gem, get a magic refill. And Paratroopa, knowing his vanilla, his knowledge with vanilla, goes over there to see if he can snake a quick one-up, but that ain't happening with these flags, with all one-ups and P-bags turned into extra key. Let's see. He looks like he tried to go for the jump too, but maybe his input got eaten. I wonder what's on the left-hand side of that Canadian drop hole. And Schmidtty Games puts an end to Mr. Snake, and gets that key, get ready to place that gem. He'd better take magic, and if I were him, I would go right straight back into this castle. Fairy is still at a taxing 48 magic points, and Paratroopa finds his Barba. He just casted Fairy. Somebody please clip that. That was. I think he meant to cast Reflect spell there. Yeah, that's yep. Yeah, we all make little mistakes like that. That was just completely. It happens. We make little mistakes like that from time to time. Unfortunately, once he beats the snake, he's not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to. Grab 2 levels off like Schmidtty Games did. So you can see Schmidtty Games' levels are a little different, but go plays that Jay. He's probably gonna get his attack 5. Schmidtty Games, yeah, he did react pretty fast. Schmidtty Games, up in A's from that, scenario that he's in, and he's back. They're both in the same room at this point. Paratroopa has maybe a 2-second lead. Oof, Schmidtty Games takes a death. That's going to cost him a little bit. He may have, or actually no, he had all of his fairy spell. So he's going to want to go left here. He knows that right is a dead end, so Schmidtty Games now has the one. And he finds a dead end. This is terrible news for Mr. Schmidtty Games. He's gonna have to go back up that elevator. That's a great clip. Oh, he's gonna check left here, which is not a bad play. This is probably the other dead end, but it's worth a check. And it is not. The palace rages on from this side, and it looks like Paratroopa is gonna follow that as well. I don't know about you guys, but if it was one of these types of scenarios with me, this is definitely up in A territory as far as Schmidty's gone left. If this turns out to be the dead end, I'm doing it up in A. Oh, and it's the fairy spell room. This is a very long left. Paratroopa casts fairy and then gets pooped on with the fire from the Moed. And Schmidtty Games actually finds the Riku player room, named after Riku player himself. He's gonna have to take up Death Abuse to be able to cast a fairy spell one last time. So this weird long left-handed branch was actually the correct play. And here's the item room. Let's see if Schmidtty Games can show us some of that vanilla skill. Sets up the top. Gets him pinned in the corner. Up. He knocks him to the right again. Let's see if he can. Yep, taking care of business. Taking care of business. And Riku players using old school strats. And I think that was the horn, which is actually pretty funny. Right now, Schmidtty Games is probably shaking in his booties. If I were him, I would be too. I mean, the horn is actually a good find for the Eastern Continent. Could be required, but he is without a doubt scouring the land for a graveyard tile to take that dive. He almost forgot that whatchamacallit, the jump cave he has seen both sides of. And Schmidtty Games in short order is going to find his magical key, which is going to tie this mother trucker. And there it is. He's in Hammer Cave right now. So Paratroopa, once finds the graveyard tile once more, is going to be in a bit of a lead here. He just has to remember where the tile is, which is half the battle. He's got 90 seconds, because I think that's about as long as it takes, maybe 45, so I forget, to optimally do Hammer Cave He finds the tile, so he's going to be the first one onto the northwestern section of the western continent. I want it to be Palace 5 so bad. I want these guys to have to dig through Palace 5. Schmidtty Games is probably like, what in the heck is going on? Right now, without a doubt, he knows it's the graveyard. And he finds it right away by just going southward on from the northern Palace. Please be Palace 5. Please be Palace 5. And yeah, okay. For a second there, I was a little confused. The Heart Container Cave and Fairy Cave have the exact same enemies in them. They're both in the same area looking for the same thing. Okay. Paratroopa finds it first, and it's Palace 3. It's in the southwestern section of this little path. And without a doubt, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the raft. Vanilla. Like the heart container on the grass top. And a quick, fast boss fight find for Paratroopa. Schmidtty Games right behind. Schmidtty Games immediately forgetting that he has the magical key. Probably because he's in so much probably just his nerves are probably off the chain, which really isn't that bad because they've placed 3 gems at around the 40-minute mark. Yeah, they haven't even gotten a chance to see what the Eastern Continent has in store for them. However, they have the information about the medicine being in Palace 4, so that's a possible item check. And I don't know. They have 3 gems placed. The only thing that's a bit unnerving about this is the fact that they haven't even had a chance to see the Eastern Continent yet. Schmidtty Games, forgetting where he was, and went out the front door of the Palace 3. And Paratroopa is the first with the raft. He hurries up in A's. He's probably thinking, man, I'm 20 minutes behind. I was saying earlier the graveyard tile folks was in play, but these guys, they I guess it either slipped their mind until last minute, which is perfectly normal. That happens to everybody, including myself. I'll forget something, you know. I'll see something and I think I went through it, type of deal, but this race isn't quite for all the cookies, but there's some cookies on the line here. The ticket to the bracket rounds of the stages of this tournament are on the they're going to be Octorok flavored cookies. with only the most organically fresh macadamian, Hylian macadamia. And Paratroopa finds the back end of Bonner Pass, sees 2 desert tiles, runs to them quickly, finds the cross on the desert tile, sees a town in his sights, and gets picked up by an encounter. Finds the town of Darunia, which you need the child to get the spell out of from, or the upstab technique is also in that town. And he finds the Eastern Risen Peabag Cave. Thank goodness he picked up that cross before entering, because you can see that blue eyeball just looking to take a bite out of his booty. And he finds the boots. Speaking of booties, yeah, I would say Paratroopa has about like a 30-second lead, probably something around that mark. And on the eastern continent, it's just like the western continent. There's going to be 4 palaces, 4 towns, Maze Island, the Valley of Death, similar to vanilla, and it might possibly have a 3-eyed rock in which you need to blow the horn in order to get inside the palace. And there may be a river devil which is blocking the path to the northern section. Paratroopa finds the town of Nukasuto, which is generally hidden underneath of a forest tile in vanilla, but in this game it is set to random, so it'll possibly be underneath of a forest tile. This time it rolled no, so he's going to pick up his free spell here. They're looking for the thunder spell. Yeah, no, the magic container lady. Oh, he gets the thunder spell, so he's in full-blown dig shake at this point. Yeah, this seed just got very free. So they have everything that they need to beat the game, unless there's an upstab block in that Great Palace. You're about to see these guys pour it all on, put the pedal to the metal. Once Schmidtty gets this thunder spell, they're both going to be full on dig shake. I didn't quite see how much magic it costs. It was quite high. Well, if it's less than 80 or at most 80, they might be in full on dig shake. But the fire spell could be linked to thunder as well. And then if that's the case, then they're gonna need another magic container to be able to. Oh, it's less than 80. Well, if it's less than 80, then they're full on dig shake, no doubt about it. With the glove, raft, magical key, thunder, reflect, and fairy spell, there's nothing holding them back for beating this game at this point in time. And Paratroopa is still looking for spells. I mean, the spell could hide a magic container, but this sort of gamble could let Schmidtty pull ahead. He might have been looking for, yeah, full frontal dig shake, exactly. He could be looking for the fire spell, hoping that it was linked to thunder to give him an easier cast of thunder to be able to cast reflect and shield and other stuff along with it. But he's gonna go turn in the spell. And I'd be really surprised if Schmidt's gonna go for the spell as well. They might be looking for shield spell. I don't blame him on that one. shield spell can help you out. In Great Palace, because everything does like 3 hearts of damage. This game is so close. Ooh, and it hides a 500-point P-bag. One wrong turn could swing this race. And it's 50 minutes in, ladies and gentlemen. In Buzz Thunderdome, these guys are neck and neck at 50 minutes in. And Schmidtty says no thank you to the spell. And carries on, probably looking for Maze Island or an easier path to get northward. That could have just swung the. That could have just swung. He finds the shield spell, which is probably the very last thing that he's looking for at this point. There's no real reason for him to need any more spells at this point, because he's got, you know, all that he needs and some. And he finds Maze. I wouldn't be surprised if he's gonna dig around a little bit for the items, and at this point in time, I don't blame him. Another magic container would be great. I'm not sure if that was back-to-back encounters or if Schmidtty just got confused. I'm a little confused. Paratroopa picking up his shield spell, probably gonna do the same thing. Walk along. I was confused. Walk along the eastern seashore and then find Maze Island. And Schmidtty Games finds a magic container in the first drop in Maze Island. He's going for the second item, and you know that could be good, it could be bad. At this point, I would be stomping on that gas pedal. And it's Palace 4, they can go mode this Mamaja. Yeah, if I were these two, I would be going full throttle on this mother truck. Dude, this could possibly be a jet seed. It depends on how these guys play it. They have everything that they could possibly ever want. And if this is a magic container, this is like, not only is it a jet seed, but it's like even, okay, it's the trophy. It's like, I don't know. It just depends on, like, I'm sure these guys know that they don't need anything else. Do they just go, or do they still continue to look for things? There is still one more heart container out there and 2 more magic containers. Schmidtty Games showing off a little bit of his vanilla combat skills, killing that Moa before he even passes. Yeah, this is absolutely a jet seed. If I were Schmidtty Games, I would be doing the basement gamble. Ooh, and he's dipping left. I mean, not necessarily a bad play, but if it turns out to be a really long, well, it gets him to an elevator, which is promising. It gives him 2 possible rightward turns, but Yeah, see, like, I would have definitely lost the race in Palace 4, making my boneheaded gambles. Exactly, Insult. Exactly. You know, you want to. At this point, you just kind of want to beat the game. You know what I mean? Those items are good comfort items. However, um, meanwhile, your opponent is beating the. And I wonder if Paratroopa goes for the basement gamble. This looks like a loop from Schmidtty Games. If this brings him back to... Oh man, Schmidtty Games has got himself in a loop, it appears. Okay, I think he figured it out. He goes up this elevator, it'll take him back to that area. Ooh, no, he's in a loop that I'm confused about, and Paratroopa makes the same play. Man, going downstairs could be detrimental. So he goes up. Okay, Schmidtty Games is back in the area. They are both on the same screen. They are crossing swords once again. These guys are some real swashbucklers. And they should have taken the basement gamble. See, now I win. See, if I was in the palace at the same time as these guys, I'd have done beat the boss. Schmidtty Games, noping from the item, goes back into the 3-drop room. Gonna either take the second drop and then hold right and go through all that, or he's gonna go to the basement. Ooh, he does the ceiling drop. He does a fist pump. He's really happy about that ceiling walk, and I don't blame him. That's a hard trick to pull off, and he's really just showing off his vanilla experience. And look, dead end. So he's gonna have to walk back to the whatchamacallit, and take the other drop. And boss is probably right here on the right. I'm a genius. Well, I'm not sure what I bet you well, we don't know if fire was thunder. We'll find out when he stabs this key. I mean, fire was reflect. It wasn't. He didn't shoot a fireball. So that's a play that I do sometimes. It doesn't always pay off. I've taken the basement gamble and lost races. Going full basement is like it's like a Zelda 2 randomizer classic meme. The thing with Thunder Fire is, if you cast fire, or I mean, if you cast thunder, your sword won't shoot out fire. But if you cast fire, you'll cast thunder, and you will shoot out fire. It's weird. Same with the life spell. If life is coupled with fire, if you cast a life spell, you won't shoot fireballs. And yeah, I know, right? Get with it. Get it right, Dig Shake. God, if it was Fred Coughlin, he could do it. just jokes. Just jokes. This randomizer is absolutely amazing, and Schmidtty Games overreacting to the River Devil there. Going for some experience points. He's got a bit of a lead if he just presses forward and just tries to get up in it. This is another item cave and he's going for it. I agree with that, Algordo. Alright, so Paratroopa takes a death. Gonna take down Boss Carrick real fast. Not a complicated boss to fight, just stand in the corner. Schmidtty Games has got to hurry up if he wants to maintain this lead. It's looking like a pass-through cave situation. I'm pretty sure he checked walking on water past the Maze Island, but I don't know. And Paratroopa is debating on whether or not he wants to go ground experience. I'm really glad that he didn't, because at this point you're overpowered. And Schmidtty finds a palace, and it's the Great Palace. He can't walk on water. He's probably wondering, should I up an A or should I just press through? If I were him, I would look around for a possible Valley of Death, or even explore that cave that he kind of turned his nose up at. It's looking like he's gonna need a cave to poke through to some other side. I'm not sure if he's... I think this is the area where they came from. I think this is... They walked on water to get around this Wilson. Dig Shake wins all of the Z2R tournament. Paratroopa as well, going to dig out like a 500 point PVAG or something out of this. Yeah, usually something like that. And it looks like Schmidtty Games is going to go through Bonner Pass, see where this pokes him out. I don't think we've seen the other side of this cave. This could be the right... Actually, we did see that cave. It was the very first cave that we saw. And he's going to walk along the coast and find out that... Nope, not going to happen. And Paratroopa sees the cave and says, no thank you. That looks kind of suspicious, that cave. But I bet you it's definitely one of these caves. I bet you any amount of money it's definitely one of these caves, because it has to. And Schmidtty Games finds the other castle, and he's gonna go dig the item. I mean, at this point, it almost has to be a magic container or a heart container. It's a real quick, easy item to get. Grabs it up really fast. And he finds Palace 5, and he's gonna dig right in. This is kind of a wonky overworld. The seed was free up until the overworld. Yeah, water tile's not that big of a deal, and Schmidtty finds the boss Guma, which is kind of a big deal, very quickly even, and he's wow, just wow, he's taking boss Guma straight to the hole. Ooh, boss Guma takes him straight to the hole. I cast a shield spell or something. Get up in there. Get out of there. Pulls him off on his last hit. One more boss down for Schmidtty. One more boss to go, and we have a Valley of Death sighting on Paratroopa's side. That could be kind of a big deal. It looks like that Paratroopa is on the southern section of the Eastern Continent, and Schmidtty Games is on the northern section of the Eastern Continent. Let's see if Schmidtty can walk down there. This might be too far of a lead to catch up from. And he's walking down, and it looks like he can't walk any further. He's gonna have to find that magical cave that Paratroopa found to get him over there. There's a Valley of Death sighting on Schmidtty Games' side, but I think he already knows. Ooh, there's a patch of water right here. He might be able to walk around, and it looks like he can. Yep, P1 is absolutely on Valley of Death. And Schmidtty Games can absolutely walk over there, so this is looking like an easy sub 90 for Schmidtty Games. Because literally on the front step of Valley of Death, you could whistle and the Bird Knights would come running from GP. That's how close it is. And Paratroopa is going to have to go ahead and find that magical cave that's going to take him to the northern section. I remember when I see it, but I forget what the cave's called. I can't remember if it's the Casito Pass-Through or the Darunia Pass-Through. It's one of them. It's not Bonner Pass. I'm pretty sure it's the Darunia Pass-Through. Yeah, Schmidtty's not messing around. He's definitely trying to get into the brackets. And he showed a lot of progress with learning this game and getting into it pretty quickly. He's definitely proved himself to be a good opponent. Yeah, you can walk northeast from Maze Island. You're absolutely correct. I wasn't even thinking about that. Schmidtty had just walked from there. But Schmidtty did take a cave to get up there. It's a little deceiving because there was that Maze Island only stuck out like maybe one tile. It was a really small bridge, and these two contestants probably saw it and didn't think twice about it. They just kept it. And with having level 6, 6, 7 going in the GP, Schmidtty Games is going to be pretty comfortable. You're right, Enzo, Paratroopa might take that cave, which is not really that far from where he is, and it would pop him out right at the spot where he needs to be, but he still needs to place that last gem in Palace 5. Now, even though that Palace 5 was quick, Paratroopa is still going to have to find it. For a second there, I thought Schmidtty Games was about to sail west again. Schmidtty Games enters its Great Palace at the barrier goes up at 111. Forgets that he doesn't have upstab and gets smacked by one of those bullets. He's I think this room, oh, this is a waffle room, but it's got bullet hell enemies in it. Downstab 100% required in this seed. Paratroopa knows he needs to go up there, he just doesn't know how to get up there, which is a pretty frustrating thing, and he's not walking towards Maze Island, which is the play where he really needs to go. I don't know, I guess he's gonna go jumping through caves, but the good news for him is he's literally right next to the cave he needs. So if he jumps in that cave, not that cave right there is P-Bag Cave, but the one directly right next to it, just east of where he is. Yes, this one right here, folks. He's going to go straight next to Palace 5. This might actually be a shortcut. It'd be quicker for him to do this cave rather than walk all the way around the eastern continent. So this is actually, without him knowing it, a better play. Did I say pop? I meant poop. It poops him out right next to the Palace 5 entrance. And he enters Palace 5. He's only going to be in here for maybe 90 seconds or so. I remember Gumo's first door on the right, couple rooms down. Not even. First door on the right immediately. But I don't know if it's not enough time for him to catch up. It depends on how bad his GP is. GP can be the great equalizer, as people like to call level 9 and Zelda 1 Randomizer. Or by people, I mean Lars Cards Fan 23. And Schmidtty Games is in the Jackamus room. Gets Buzz Thundered. And is in the Thunderbird fight. Wow, Thunder either says 64 or 84. Stay tuned for the right answer. Wow, Thunder was a whole 84 magic points. They needed at least 6 magic points to 6 magic containers to cast it. So round 2 for Schmidtty, took a Death Abuse so he could cast Thunder to begin with. He's very well versed in this fight. It's a fight he's done time and time again. Should be no problem, especially with Attack 6. Attack 6 Thunderbird is free. And down goes the turkey. Paratroopa enters GP. But if this is a really quick GP, if Dark Link is just over here, it's gonna be too little. And it looks like Schmidtty's got options. It's something like that. Yeah, Para is really nice at dodging bullets. I noticed that as well. And Schmidtty Games is greeted with the Eon Drop room, which is actually a pretty free room in the Swiss round flags. But in the bracket stages, he's greeted with 2 drops. He's gotta find the bomb hole, as they like to say in Zelda 1 Randomizer. Flip a coin to figure it out. And it looks like he may have chosen wisely. And he did. There's Dark Link. GG. It's going to be taking a lot of messing up for whatchamacallit, for Schmidtty to lose the race at this point. Nah, it seemed like it was a pretty linear pathway. And then you were greeted with the Eon Drop Bridge and another room following just behind. Yeah, they went into the east around 45 minutes, yep. Let's see if we can get a Schmidtty Games in here for an interview. And he has agreed to join us for the interview. Hold on one second. Yeah, Paratroopa should be finding his Thunderbird here shortly. I didn't think oh yeah, maybe he did go this way. That's right. I do remember him going through a fun room at some point. He takes another dive into the lava. Schmidtty Game said he'll be here in about 30 seconds, so stay tuned. Sometimes in these rooms, it's better to just cast a fairy spell. He accidentally cast a fairy spell twice, unfortunately. Which means he's gonna have to do one shot with Thunderbird. So in 30 seconds, Schmidtty Games is gonna be joining us for interview. And I think we were just joined by Schmidtty Games. Schmidtty, is that?
Yes, it is.
Hey man, GG. Dude, this is a crazy. This seed was pretty free, except the overworld was a little sketch. But like, man, you guys were pretty close up until the Palace 5, Palace 1 situation.
Yeah, how about that raft?
Yeah, that raft was in a very awesome location. I really like that raft. You guys both didn't sail until about the 45-minute mark, but at that point you have already 100% of the western.
Yeah.
You both did. It wasn't he didn't like snag the raft early or anything, but in my opinion, I think it kind of worked out for your favor.
Yeah, that Western continent was something.
Yeah, I kept on saying that.
Else.
Yeah, I was like, it has to be on the other side of that fairy drop in the graveyard tile.
That was all that was left.
Yeah, I knew you knew at that point because you had seen everything. You almost jumped in the jump cave, and I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You might have thought it was fairy cave for a second.
Yeah, I saw jump cave, and I knew where that one went. I thought remember where it was, and it took me a second, so I was bouncing around. Then I remembered it was just south of the North Palace.
Yeah, I remember seeing Paratroopa had found the grave tile, which led to the fairy drop, but I didn't think you had found it. But I knew it wasn't going to take you long to find it. He found a magical key probably about 5 minutes before you did, maybe 10. And I was like, man, if Schmidtty doesn't get that, but it's not going to be too much of a disadvantage, because you have the fairy spell. But you ended up finding it anyway, and I don't know, having the death abuse and cast fairy all the time, like it would have been a big advantage on his part. But it turns out
very
that
expensive. It was. Magic also rolled high on this seed, so it was really interesting.
yeah, Thunder was 84 magic points, and Paratroopa is about to get presented with that double drop situation, and he's gonna have to choose wisely. Like,
I remember something someone told me a long time ago about drops. Like Eon is always the right choice, so that's fine. It's the first one. If it's wrong, I'll just come back and do the other one. But it ended up being the right choice.
yeah, I've been screwed on both occasions. I've been screwed by the Eon drop, and I've been screwed for not taking it because I've been presented that double drop situation. Let's see what Paratroopa does. He's on the Eon crumble block bridge right now, and he's gonna poke his head right, and that bubble will try to chase him down. And it looks like he's going Eon too. He's like, I see that drop. Let me just try the Eon. So yeah, he'll be finished probably in the next about 30 seconds or so, but it was a very, very close race. He couldn't find Palace 5, but he had found Valley of Death. While you were trucking around up north, he was trucking around by Valley of Death, and I'm like, well, you placed the gem in Palace 5 while he was in Palace 1 digging the item out and stuff, and it didn't take you long to find it, and I'm like, well, this is probably going to be a GG for Schmidtty. It's gonna, because it took Paratroopa a while to find Palace 5.
It's like got it done. I mean, any sub 90 run is still pretty darn good.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You both killed it.
I thought it was gonna go much longer than that when I set sail at like 45 minutes.
I think we're joined by Paratroopa. I got the audio indications that someone joined the voice Discord. GG Paratroopa. Well, I see him in here, but
There
I
we go.
guess it's...
Hi.
Okay, GG Paratroopa.
Yeah, GG. That was a pretty close one, so that's good.
Yeah, believe it or not, you guys were neck and neck up until about, I want to say about maybe the 50 or the 60 minute mark or something. At some point, Schmidtty Games decided to go north of the Maze Island.
That's exactly where I thought I lost the game, because I forgot that there was a water passage that would go up that way, and I never checked it.
Well, he took a path, or he took the same cave that you did, that put him up there. But he found it a lot quicker than you, and he placed the Java Palace 5, and then while you were in Palace 1 while he was entering. I think you were in the item room as he was entering Palace 1 after placing the gem in Palace 5, but Palace 4 and Palace 3, you guys or not Palace 3, Palace 4 and the other one that was over there, you guys were pretty neck and neck.
Let's see, Palace 2, 3, and 6 are on the west, so 1 and 4 were probably next to each other.
Yeah, it was 1, 4, 5, and GP. So yeah, 1 and 4. Well, you guys did 4. Schmidtty placed the gem in 4 a little quicker.
Yeah, 4. I got really lost in 4. There was some really weird non-Euclidean geometry going on in there.
Yeah, he actually ferried across that 3-drop hole as well, and full cleared that whole side with the item room and stuff. He went in there, saw the item room, and realized that, I don't need the medicine. I already have Thunder or whatever. And
yeah, I got it. I didn't really need it, but I got it just in case, I guess. I knew it was the medicine. I took it anyway because I'm conservative like that.
Yeah, it's all good. I know what you mean.
I think at the time I was still unable to cast Thunder, I think. So I think part of my thought was like, well, maybe Fire will be linked to Thunder and I'll be able to cast it that way, but I don't know. That was
Yeah, that it's kind of funny. A magic container where your go mode item, because Thunder was 84 magic points and you guys only had 5 magic containers for like the longest time. I think up until you guys went on Maze Island.
Yeah, that was the thing I noticed as soon as I got Thunder. I'm like, oh, I don't actually have the items I need to beat the game yet, because I don't have any guarantee that leveling up magic will make Thunder cheaper, so I probably need another magic container. And that ended up being true. I don't know if Magic 8 would have made a difference or not, but ended up being just the magic container helped. Fairy was a problem too early on, because you needed a fairy to get through Fairy Cave, and it also to get downstab. And I need like Magic 4 before I could cast the fairy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes the seeds, they roll like that, they'll give you fairy, but at Magic 1 it's like 111 magic points, and then you take a magic level or 2 and it gets down to like 75 or something, and then when you get to Magic 4 it's like 50 magic points, and it's like, well, I can cast it once.
Yeah, and this one, level 2 magic didn't even make fairy cheaper at all. It was still 116, so I'm like, okay.
Schmidtty, are you trying to say stuff?
I think it was like it was Magic 6 or Magic 7. Fairy went from 49 to 48.
Great.
It had me thinking that sometimes a weak act of pity is the deepest act of cruelty.
At some point, Fairy got down to 27, which is good, but
yeah. But early on, that was brutal.
Yeah. I think I basically lost because I was a little too. I had some sloppy moments. I basically game overed in the first minute and 30 trying to kill a Daira, and then I had some other sloppy moments like that where I lost some time, and I ended up spending too much time exploring the overworld, and that was probably what cost.
The Western continent was a mess.
I also I forgot to reset my lives going to Great Palace, but that ended up not mattering, so I was too far behind at that.
Oh, is that what happened there? I was wondering what happened. I was like, I saw you took a game over, and I was kind of like, well, it wasn't down.
I would have had one more life, but that's not good going to Thunderbird, so I needed to reset and get my lives back.
I had that happen to me one time when I went into Palace 5, -1 life, and I went in there and I got wrecked by Guma after going through a long and tough Palace 5, and I had to go all the way back through just to, and it cost me probably about 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Items required this time, huh? That's rare.
What's that? Downstab being required?
Items at all. No kid, no trophy, no nothing. None of them mattered.
I ended up getting the trophy on Maze Island, and that was a complete waste of time, unfortunately. But I was still looking for a magic container at that time, I think.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Usually when they give you the glove and the key so free, you're usually having to like.
That's one of the latest I've ever gotten the raft. That was really hard to find. I went to the dock at one point, so I'm like, I must have the raft by now, right? And I didn't.
Yeah, we saw that. It was pretty funny. What about that Barbara death, or when you cast Fairy at the Palace?
Oh, that was just a finger slip. So I have fast casting on, so I just, my finger slipped and I cast Fairy. I'm like, oh, I guess I'll just die then.
Dude,
the Barbara fight after that went well, though, because I was nervous about that, because it's like, I don't want to do Palace 6 yet, but I guess I have to, so that went well, though. Fortunately, the item in 6 was not needed.
Yeah, the next fight that you had with him did go well, but that was really funny.
Yeah. I was like, well, I guess I'll just die as quickly as possible. I was lucky too, because I only had 1 life left, so that made things really nerve-wracking.
Yeah, Seed was definitely really weird and free to an extent.
Yeah.
I think making you have the full 100% clear the overworld on the Western continent was actually kind of worked in your guys' favor, because once you got over there, you never had to go back to the Western.
Yeah, that's true.
Schmidtty, you trying to say something?
Well, I was thinking I might have to go back if I kept getting destroyed in the east, but I was able to get my life level up.
Yeah, being on the east, with even like life 4 or 5, those enemies, they'll take like 3 heart containers off you each time you get hit. Like all of them. Like even the levers, they'll hit you for like 3 heart containers. Those guys hit pretty hard. I don't know, GG guys. It looked like it was a pretty fun seed. It looked pretty free.
Yeah,
you didn't have to do any like weird funky stuff to get like any required spell items or anything. So thank goodness that 7 magic container lady wasn't required.
That was interesting.
And I don't know, any final thoughts on the seed?
Nope, not in particular.
Schmidtty?
This game finally dragged me to Death Mountain, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. But it helped though. It definitely helped. Wasn't it like a magic container and or was it a pea bag and a let's see, Death Mountain was a heart container. A heart container and a magical key.
worth it because of the magic key, but
I just remember the sloppy moment I had in level 2 where I forgot that I had the power gloves, so I reset when I hit the room with the blocks, and then it ended up not mattering because the item room was somewhere else anyway, so I got lucky there because I just had a complete brain.
I saw that and I was like, yeah, dude, if Schmidtty goes left there and it happens to go to the boss of the item, Paratroopa might be in trouble. And then you walk into the item room right behind.
Yeah, I completely looked out there because I was like, well, now that I've done that, I'm not going to go back because I would just definitely be, I would be at disadvantage if I go back. But if I go somewhere else and the item room is there, then I'm actually at an advantage because I ducked out of there too. And so I got lucky there, which was nice. But I just completely forgot I had the power glove for some reason. Just like had the instinct of like, oh no, I don't have the power glove yet. I can't go here. They're reset.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever had that happen before, but I've had it happen to where I went in there without the power glove and I got really sad because I couldn't do good.
Yeah, that happened to me like a practice seed like 1 or 2 days ago. So I had that like mentality of like, uh-oh, level 2. I don't know if we're gonna get power glove block. I don't know. It happens.
Yeah, it can be really like it changed the way you think about this game because now, you know, when you go into Palace 2, you're kind of like, should I get the glove first? Sometimes I'll just do it because I figure if I can at least get to the boss, I know that the glove is not in there.
Right,
You know, and
that's
sometimes
true.
that's the only thing I'm really looking for. Is
Yeah. Well, that's pretty much all. So, GG. It was a good race.
Hey, GG, you're I think 1 and 2 now, which is the same bracket that I'm in, and Schmidtty Games is 2 and Schmidtty Games is 2 and 1. Schmidtty Games is punched his ticket into the bracket rounds. He will be he's got his golden ticket, so he's going to be in the bracket stage rounds of this tournament. How do you feel about that, Schmidtty? Are you excited?
pretty good. I would probably lose like my first 2 or 3 races and have to fight in at the end. It's nice to get it in with a couple to go.
Yeah, I remember early on you were like worried that you were even going to make it into the bracket.
I'm gonna go 0-5.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, dude, you'll make it. You'll make it, you know. And Paratroopa, I'm sure you'll make it as well. You're a great runner. You sub 90, especially.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I think you can do it. There's tons of races still to be had, and there's I don't know. Well, there's still 2 weeks worth of races. All you need to do is win one.
Oh, it's 2 weeks left? I thought there was only 1 week left. So I was like, I mean, it depends on my draw.
No, it's 5 rounds. 5 rounds.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not so bad.
So I don't know. GGG, but it was a pleasure to be able to do commentary for you guys.
Yeah,
it was
thanks for doing the commentary.
Oh yeah, no problem. It was my pleasure. And you guys, man, it was you guys sailed around the exact same time, and I remember saying, "Wow, it's 50 minutes in, and these guys are just neck and neck." So it was a pretty exciting race. Towards the end, Schmidtty was fortunate enough to find Palace 5, taking a cave, and was able to find Palace 1 before you could find Palace 5. So that's kind of what separated the race at the end. I think it was a total of 3 or 4 minutes that separated the finish time.
About 6 minutes, I think. Would have been less if I hadn't messed up Great Palace, but that's okay.
Yeah, stuff happens, man. You'll be alright. I'm sure you'll.
It was an interesting seed. Thanks for putting on the show, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Hey, you guys have a good night.
Yep. Thanks everyone for joining us today. Much appreciated. Next match and final match of the Swiss Round 3 will be tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern. Beowulf versus Bantu D2. And then it's going to be Swiss Round 4 coming up the following week. So thanks everyone for joining us. And big shout out to Trails for doing commentary today. And also to Lightning and Siberian for doing tracking. So thanks everyone. And we'll catch you later. Bye.